I get lost in my thoughts sometimes. I get lost in the ideas of what I think I should do. I get lost in the feelings of what I really want to do that come from my body. And I get lost. Today I want to explore these thoughts that feel like demands that come up in my body. And I'm assuming since they come up in my body that the collective pulse has this experience too. And I wanted to hold space for that and come back to how to move this demanding thought out and out of us. The demanding thoughts feel in my body like a cloud. And it's like a cloud that grows. Like it just keeps growing larger and larger and larger and larger until I can't see, until I can't feel, until I just feel numb inside. And these demanding thoughts just grow the more I give them energy, the more I give them attention. I can feel that energy growing inside of me. And the thoughts start to impact how I feel, because that's how feelings work, right? Feelings are connected with our thoughts. So the more I feed this demand, the more my body is receiving all of this like energy that is overwhelming to me. It can feel like anger, frustration, sadness, sorrow, like all of those feelings come forward from these demanding thoughts, the weight that I put in them. And for example, a demanding thought for me is hearing somebody tell me what I should be doing, or who I should be, where I should be in my life. And then that thought that someone else shared with me gets ingested into my body and starts to fuel this spiral of energy inside of me. At first, it's like, I don't need that. I know that that's not for me. That's not my story. But then something starts to seep in. If I'm not in the right headspace, maybe I haven't been taking care of my body, those thoughts start to seep in and start to spin a web in my mind. And I'm learning that these thoughts, these demanding thoughts, are sometimes from me and sometimes from others, but they're sometimes born from where and how I grew up and what my society was like when I grew up. But the demand is still there, and it wants me to create, to do, to make, and it's just festering me and it will not stop. And I feel very overwhelmed by them. I find myself sometimes noticing that these demanding thoughts have clouded my judgment, have fueled something inside of me, but yet I find myself wanting to move away from them or try to find ways to move that energy out. And sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't. But I notice that sometimes I want to run away from it and push them away and say, you're not for me. Like I'm like a superhero. Psh, leave me alone. And that works sometimes. But sometimes it sits with me and it hides itself in some part of my body until the next time it needs to come out, until the next time it comes forward. So what I'm pondering is that. I'm pondering why these demanding thoughts feel like they have a place in my body. And then I'm trying to explore how to move those demanding thoughts out and up out of me, to just release them, to not allow them to continue to fester? How can I work with them? What do they need in order to move out of me? And I feel like demanding thoughts will always come and go, right? We're humans. We have monkey brains that want to keep telling us things and create things. And I live in a society that is very focused on consumerism and having the next best thing. So those thoughts will seep in. But what I'm trying to explore as a collective and for myself is, how do I move this out of me to make space for the light that wants to shine? Because when these demanding thoughts roll in, these like big clouds roll in, my heart and my light gets clouded. And sometimes I feel like my light is like a little candle inside of me. And sometimes I think it's like a huge bonfire that like my whole being is like on fire and like just like standing in my truth. But when those thoughts roll into me, my light feels like a candle dimming. And I can't find myself because I'm so disconnected from my body. So how do I move that? How do I shine my light? How do I take that little dim light and shine it through this demand? Shine it through these thoughts that don't feel good to me. So there's a lot of ways that we can meet this demand and shine our light. I think the first thing that feels really good to me, and it speaks to me and the collective that I feel like we're all a part of, is our bodies. I feel like when I feel the demanding thoughts pop into my mind and my body turns on with these feelings, and then I go into a little like hole because I don't feel good anymore, there's a disconnection from the body. Like the body's trying to speak, but the brain, the monkey brain is like taking over and is like pushing it down. So instead it's the movement of the body, the connection with our being, the connection with the land that we reside on, the connection of coming back home that helps to move these thoughts out. And I feel like sometimes when we connect with our bodies through movement, through just laying on earth, that the monkey brain can slow. It can slow down. The thoughts can release. And then there's clarity that comes forward. There's clarity that moves through us and lets us say, those thoughts have been clouding me. They don't belong to me. Or what are they trying to say? Are they trying to encourage me somewhere else? It's the curiosity piece that I think helps to light the light back up. The connection with our body that helps to move all of the clouds back away. And the light can start to beam forward. So with these practices, as we're exploring together on this channel, is coming back to this body, coming back to what the body wants to fuel, how we can fuel this body of ours, to nourish it, to feel into it, to let go of the demand, to let go of all of the stuff that disconnects us from who we truly are. Because that's what I think the gift of movement is, and the gift of connection and slowing and present moment leads us back to our truth. It leads us back to who we are. So think I'm going to leave that here. I said a lot, but this is Ponder and Expand. So it's going to be a talkative one. And hopefully it will lead us to deeper exploration as our thoughts come forward and as our needs come up in our body and how we can nourish our bodies. And that's what this channel, I think, is all about, is finding ways to nourish our body, to let go of the monkey brain, to come back to our body and really tune into the light that we have inside of ourselves, the light that all of us have that help to guide us to who we truly are. So I hope you enjoyed this talkative session, and I look forward to speaking and hanging out with you in the future.